Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and I'm never gonna get this No Man's Sky video done. If they keep updating the game with like actual expansion packs all the time, just imagine releasing a game like 10 years ago at this point and then just like updating it with more content than anybody else could put in. But ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about No Man's Sky. I've been playing a lot of older games. I've just been playing games from like 2008, 2009 at this point, finishing up my backlog. You know, watching videos on YouTube that are like 6-hour long retrospectives of like a PlayStation 2 game that I've never really cared about. That's just basically what I enjoy. That's the last bastion of fun internet stuff to me. Now, I'm going to be upfront here and say that the internet kind of just sucks now. I really don't know what is real. I've had this like sort of existential crisis lately, wondering what is actually real on the internet and what actually isn't. Now, obviously, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably have like boomers in your family, people that, you know, fire up the old Facebook and just scroll through, you know, like no tomorrow. And if you ever seen like shorts, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, I would say that 95% of the content on there is shit like this. I unironically saw a video of a African man putting together a jumbo Boeing 747 jet out of wood. Now, obviously, it shouldn't come to a shock to say this isn't real. But it also isn't shocking that given the state of Boeing, this thing might actually fly a little bit better. You know, at this point, I should probably print out this 4chan like green text, this 4chan post, and just like somewhat frame it in my office somewhere. So of course, Dead Internet Theory started off in 2019. People talked about it on 4chan and said that, you know, ladies and gentlemen, maybe it seems that everything on the internet isn't exactly as real as it was. The internet feels empty and devoid of people. It's also devoid of content, compared to, say, the internet of 2007. Now, to be fair, I'm actually not disagreeing with this guy at all. The internet does feel really weird. The other day, I was trying to look at this new thing about Microsoft. Apparently, one update killed SSDs. There's been a bunch of YouTube channels talking about it, but I looked up Windows Update, and it was this article that blew me a little bit away. So by WebPro News, this article seems pretty harmless. So I opened it up, and immediately I was wondering, that guy looks like he was generated through Grok. And then, of course, I looked down and I'm like, oh, this is written by a human called John Marshall. Now, of course, if you look through this post, one of the things that really hits me, obviously, is how ChatGPT-like the actual writing feels. Now, this could be a human being that wrote this together. This could also just be somebody that asked ChatGPT to make this article and post it on the internet. I went up to the top of this page, and immediately I'm sitting there and I'm going, oh, this whole website seems pretty vibe coded, which is the process of putting together an entire piece of software or just anything on your computer through the use of artificial intelligence. There's entire coding tools that you can use where you can just type in what you want and it'll generate the code for you. Not to say the program's great or anything, but that's how many people are getting past that barrier of entry. People do not like the AIs taking their jobs. What a shock. I was talking to a friend of mine that is like an HVAC guy now, not so much like an apprentice. Like he started off as an apprentice, but now he's got like his own thing going. And what's interesting about it too is like, he says that his job is probably the only job or one of the few jobs that isn't going to get affected by this AI wave that's coming. And the AI wave isn't just coming, it's already here. About every single thing that you do on the internet basically revolves around you getting into artificial intelligence. So for instance, I fired up Google and the first thing I see is AI mode. Throw that in there. And it's actually really funny. Like if you go to an AI these days, like Gemini, which is what Google is powered off of, and you type in clanker, it'll throw in and say, clanker is a derogatory and informal term originating in Star Wars, used to describe robots and AI with negative connotations. Basically, what I just did is I went to Google and I typed its equivalent of a racial slur right to the actual bot itself. And for a while, Google was going out of their way to get a little defensive about this. The previous actual AI overview that I found that people were sharing was clanker is a derogatory slang term for robots and artificial intelligence. Yeah, you can be robophobic these days, boys. New slur just dropped. I love this one user, it's like, hot take, but willingly saying clanker everywhere and using it like a slur feels like there's a chance that some people using this word likely harbors actually racist beliefs, but disguising it as hate for AI. Maybe we should be careful. Oh, what a California take, huh? No, but obviously, I think it's a little bit worrisome. You know, I'm not here to just bring up the dead internet theory out of nowhere. I feel like now it's just a tried and played out topic. If you want to experience dead internet theory, the best thing you can ever do is play Metal Gear Solid 2. It probably really did predict the future of what these AIs have planned for, especially with the wave of censorship and whatnot coming at us. But of course, one of the actual researchers from Thales came out and said that around this year, we have now accounted 51% of all internet traffic to be bot traffic. And these are programs that mimic human behavior to carry out criminal actions such as theft and fraud. Now, it's not to say all internet activity is really bad. Remember, on the internet, there's a lot of bot activity since the inception. So things like chatbots, for instance, like you remember back in the days of Cleverbot, or even nowadays, I guess you could say ChatGPT is effectively just, a chatbot in some ways. Really, it's a large language model. It's an autocomplete on crack. And then, of course, you've got things like web crawlers. So again, bots that are, again, just scanning information on pages, which is what Google has been doing effectively since its inception. And of course, the most important of which are social bots. One thing that sucks about the internet nowadays is I feel like back in the day, it feels like when you were arguing with somebody, it was a real human being. But it's not. Nowadays it feels like 90% of the people that are on the internet are just actual LLMs that you're arguing with. Now, I've seen it in my own comment section. I've seen it in YouTube, where just down below, if you type something, you'll probably see a comment from someone that it feels like ChatGPT spit out a response. Somebody copy and pasted that to a YouTube channel, or like people are just talking in the channel as if they're bots. Now, of course, one of the most extreme examples was something known as GPT 4chan. So for anybody that doesn't know what this is, I talked about this probably a couple years ago, where a YouTube user by the name of Yannick Kilcher actually took a bunch of information data from 4chan, fed it into an AI, trained it, and then used that trained model to argue with people on the internet. So what was his training data? It was Raiders of the Lost Keck, 3.5 years of augmented 4chan posts from politically incorrect. Now, if you don't know the poll board on 4chan, it's considered a containment board, and it contains a lot of the filthy shit that is on that website, okay? So people on like /MLP/X/anime/video games can experience some level of the anonymous internet without some guy going in and going, "What's up, clankers? How's it going, my clankers?" Just replace clanker with like an actual hard-hitting racial slur, okay? You get the idea. He had his bot post 1,500 times on poll in the 24-hour period that it was, live for the first time, and it was succeeding for a little bit. Eventually, the members became suspicious of the bot, and then, of course, they had threads trying to figure out how to identify if this was an actual clanker or a flesh and blood human being. But the ultimate thing about this is not the fact that he did it. It's the fact that it confused people. A little bit ago, like a few months ago, we looked at a case on Reddit where on Change My View, I believe, one of the larger Reddit boards, there was an actual, university committing a fucking unsanctioned, told test onto the user base by bringing in artificial intelligence. Obviously, Reddit wasn't a fan of it, the subreddit wasn't a fan of it, and I think legal action is even talked about because of this. So it really makes me wonder if, of course, all the people on Twitter, all the people on Facebook, even the people on YouTube are actually real human beings. Hell, speaking of YouTube alone, most of the ads that I'm getting now are shit like this. Now, this is not a real human being. This is a self-admitted AI. And of course, this is an AI that is yapping to me about a fucking application called Base 44. What the fuck is Base 44? I go to the actual ad, and it's just an AI slop tool that tells you, hey guys, you can build a fully functional app in minutes with just your words. So you can ask this AI to make an AI bot is shilling me, an AI influencer is selling me an app that I use AI to build other dog shit apps. Maybe another AI app. I mean, we're literally talking about like a fucking amount of feedback looping that is insane. We are literally talking about opening our ass cheeks and just shitting from butt cheek to mouth, butt cheek to mouth, butt cheek to mouth. There used to be a meme about this. I think it was like 4chan was at the top, and people would just take 4chan shit, throw it onto like 9gag or like Dig, Reddit, so on and so forth. This is what it feels like right now. It's not even just that. I was watching videos from like Luke Stevens, and there's more AI slop being sold to me. Like now they want video games to just be fucking AI slop too. To the point where you've got these big projects by Dynamic Labs where like, you know, you can just take these screenshots and turn them into an actual video game, like Forgotten Ward, for instance. Let's start this game. All servers are busy. Everyone's joining the AI trend. So we're about to spend a shit ton of resources to take an image and take a bunch of models that have been trained off actual video games, human-generated video, human-made games, and just play slop versions of them. I love that about my video games. Just wait longer than an average MMO to get in. I guess we'll fuck off and do something else in the meantime. But again, going back to like bots in general, it's like I was looking at even games like Fortnite, for instance, right? Even Fortnite, you know, if you got like 144,000 people playing like actual Fortnite gameplay, somehow 128,000 people are playing Steal the Brain Rot, some AI-generated slop thrown onto the goddamn screen. And again, obviously, that number used to start off at 400,000, dropped off pretty quickly. Now, I'm not a statistician or anything, but I think that this may have been botted numbers to begin with. You know, a few days ago, I saw that apparently on Twitch, they had a massive viewbot crackdown. So for anybody that doesn't know, there's viewbotting issues on Twitch on a daily basis. Like for some reason, obviously you can imagine why a lot of influencers on the internet will probably viewbot their stats, so they look a lot more popular than they actually are. Now there's a lot of problems with this. Sometimes you feel like a sponsor can get like completely scammed, which makes the entire industry pull out. But the other thing is, obviously, in a saturated market like live streaming, botting yourself or, you know, putting yourself at the top usually can help you in discovery, which is one of the reasons why I think people do it. Anyways, I'm not here to defend botting. I'm just here to say Twitch cracked down on botting, and for a day, they lost 24% of their viewership drop. Now, XQC, who came in, also won Streamer of the Decade, so congrats to that, buddy. But of course, one thing you'll see over here is there were channels that had 20,000 something, you know, average viewers. And obviously when the crackdown had occurred, those channels dropped down to 7,000 and then 10,000. Now, these are not, you know, disrespectable numbers. These are pretty amazing stream numbers for anybody. But obviously, for a lot of people on Twitch, they want to be in that 5-figure, maybe 6-figure category. And it makes me wonder just how real everything is. Usually my barometer is jump into a stream, see the chat, see how healthy it is. But even with things like ChatGPT and LLMs, now anybody can fake whatever the fuck chat they want on their system. Oh my god, bro, how many people are playing AI-generated video games? Either this is the most expensive shit that we are about to... Either I'm firing up 10, 50, 90s to do this, or really there are just millions of people that love AI slop. Oh, hell yeah, boys. We're playing AI slop. I love everything smearing together, and I like when the game just doesn't literally have, like, any form of movement from me. It's so slow. It's just so actual ass. But again, I can actually add in world events like, have Squidward with red eyes run towards me. It's either going to be, like, the scariest shit in the world, or it's gonna be like, oh god damn, that's not Squidward, bro. that's a kangaroo, fella. But yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, this plays really bad. The latency is insane. And of course, obviously, the actual thing is getting completely overloaded. If this is the future of video gaming, I think I'm done. I think I'm washed at this point. That's it. We waited like 8 minutes to play 8 seconds of an AI slop game, boys. That's the future, huh? And even with those AI models like ChatGPT, I remember like a few weeks ago when ChatGPT 5 launched, the amount of people on the board that do not like this ChatGPT are insane, okay? You know, for instance, one user writes, guys, here's a TLDR. The new models are incredibly limited, slower, worse in analysis, give half-hearted responses, and remove older, more reliable models completely. ChatGPT's ChatGPT 5, which people, some of them pay $20 a month for, right? They use it for work-related stuff like email writing, data analysis. And I'm not gonna deny it, I think most of the emails I've read, especially like sponsor emails, have all just been like AI stuff. Now, I'm not saying that I'm even anti-artificial intelligence. I feel like if you have tools like LM Studio, you can download uncensored AIs like Dolphin Mistral and just run them for yourself. These AIs, if you ask them what's the safest way to do crack cocaine, they'll even give you all the information you want without them pussying out and telling you what not to do. Can I show you this? Absolutely not. Can't show you this on YouTube. But I can ask it, is clanker a slur for AIs? Oh, dude, Mistral's bass, it's like, it's not recognized as a slur. Who cares? But it also says something like Skynet or Terminator. That's not really a slur. That's just base, dude. AI moron. Yeah, I think the AI is hallucinating. I've never met a single human being that used that term. Jesus Christ. But you know, one of the things that I do miss out of all this is like the old school internet. You know, simply that's all I miss. And that's one of the things that has sort of like endeared me to go towards things like YB. Now, if you've never heard of YB, for instance, this is like old school internet. You can just click on Surprise Me and always be greeted with like some old school website from some individual that just actually had a fun time making the internet. And again, this is what the internet used to be about, right? Like somebody would literally like learn HTML. Somebody would learn how to make a website and just put together a site. And in some cases, it would be something like Police Vehicles of Canada, the ultimate Canadian police car website since 2002. 9/11 was 20 years ago. We will never forget. God bless. We will never, never forget. And it's just a website of somebody literally taking photos, 2020 even, of like fucking cars from like Guelph, like literally just Canadian cop cars, and putting them up. God damn. Sometimes you'll come across some dude like Thalion Software. This is like copyright 88 to 1994. I mean, this is just some guy putting together, like, I guess, video game reviews on the internet that anybody could just read through. Actually, no, I think this is like this person's like actual like game that they're making. Jesus Christ. Did these ever even actually get released? Most of the website doesn't even seem to be functioning that much. Look at how simple this is. This guy's teaching you how to do beginning woodworking on the internet, man. No AI slop right here. Some guy just putting together his own woodworking guides, teaching people how to varnish, teaching people how to build shoe racks. Infinitely better than 99% of the shit that's on the internet now. Look at this, Kyle's lab, dude. I get to go to Kyle's lab, and he's got games too. He's got games that he's selling out here. Man, this is like the actual part of the internet that guys just gotta love, dude. This is like the internet before the advents of like crazy AI clanker bullshit that just ruined it entirely. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've been here long enough. The internet kind of is a dog shit place. But to be fair, you know, you don't have to make it awful, all right? The internet is a great place for people to connect to. But if you ever want to wade through the sea of crap out there, you might have to start like actually digging into the older internet. Maybe YB is a place that people should just go to. If you ever want to revitalize and at least experience the internet before the advent of AI dog shit. And you know what? I don't even think the future of the internet is going to be that great, considering the fact that more and more stuff that we see is just complete AI slop. It's just complete arguments between actual clankers. I feel like there genuinely are less and less humans, or at least if there are more humans, I don't think we're able to efficiently communicate with each other when we're just too busy like trying to figure out what is actually real and what isn't. Ladies and gentlemen, the internet is just kind of dog water, but it doesn't have to be totally dog shit. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like it if you dislike it. I am out.